Ah, it's nice when everything works. Hello everybody. Sorry for starting a couple of minutes late. For whatever reason my internet decided to reset just as I was going live the first time. So yeah, running a couple of minutes late, but we shall move on. Just want to make sure nothing's misbehaving before I get started. It seems to be okay. So, hello. If you haven't seen the showcase from Monday, essentially what we do through these is more or less just go around people's claims and have a look at what you guys are building. We're going to be doing things slightly different from what I did on Monday, mainly because I'm going to try and stick to no more than an hour per claim, just so that we can try and get like all the claims put together. So that way, yeah, should be aiming to see 3 different claims today, or more accurately, they're the 3 claims that I've made note of for today. So if I finish slightly too quickly, well, you know who to blame. And hey there. Yeah, I can see people starting to appear up, so I know, it's the middle of the afternoon. It's the only reason why we put these things on YouTube anyway, as well. Okie dokie, so after that wonderful sort of slight change thing we're doing, I'm just going to hop straight on into it. Like I said, the 3 claims I've got today are a little bit different than... there's no particular theme for the 3 of them together. I've literally just grabbed the next 3 that were in line, really. And the first one is one that quite a lot of people have quite liked to have a look around. I personally haven't had a chance to see this one yet, which is why I'm coming here today. But there's quite a lot of pictures of this on the forums. So yes, the claim we're going to be seeing is the White Dragon Inn. This is actually made by Whiteberry on the forums. You can feel free to send a tweet to her as well. I'm sure they'll appreciate the fact that you quite like their claim, or at least I would like to think so. And, assuming I can move things nice and smoothly around, oh, there it is! So yeah, once again, makes it nice and easy for me, I don't have to go very far. That being said, I will say this is that, yeah, putting yourself up for criticism, putting yourself right next to the spire, takes guts, I like it. So let's go. So yeah, I was told I can basically just go around this in any particular order. However, one thing I was told was that it's quite sprawling, the layout, and just before I started and had to completely reset everything, you can kind of see just off the map there's bits and pieces all over the claims that have been marked out here, so we've got a fair old bit to have an explore on. Like I said, we're literally right next to the spire, so it's not that far to come. And yeah, like I put on the side there, we're currently on Understanding server on Spring. Pop you guys back on here. So yeah, like on Monday, you can feel free just to have a chat and ask things as we go. I'll try and point out some things as we're having a wander around. And yeah, this is the more public area that was actually made up. And again, I always quite like this when people make the props for the various crafting stations all really small and kind of make them look almost like toy miniatures kind of thing. Hey Zan, how's things? So yeah, I like the extra little bits of effort. So whoops, camera clipping. Hang on. Da 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 da. Zoom in a bit. So it's like every area's got its own little sort of stands and tables and things to keep everything looking nice and neat. And the bit I actually want to go back to is this bit down here. The one thing I was saying on Monday as well when it comes to claims. Am I the only one sitting with a black screen saying loading video? I have a feeling you might be. I haven't heard anyone complain yet anyway. Yeah, the guys in chat are saying things are working. So the one thing I was saying when I was looking at other claims the other day, I can never seem, although it seems a relatively simple thing to do, but I can never get like the sort of flower arrangements and things like that all right, because whenever I seem to place them, it looks wrong when I'm doing it. So when someone's gone through like the effort of, you know, putting like the log down on here, like even like putting like the color details in just so it looks, rather than just like planting loads of the same thing itself. Yeah, Laurie, I'm not sure why you seem to be having trouble, sorry. Because yeah, it's nothing that I can particularly do at my end, because at least in terms of my connection, it'll stream out as neat as it can do. Zan, one thing I will say is if you're after picks and things, the whole crafting setup is going to be changing with the new patch, because people are going to be able to do mods and upgrades to tools. The flip side of that is that people who want to mod the tools will have to create brand new ones to mod them with, so you'll probably find that at least after the patch, so admittedly you're talking like either very late Thursday or very early Friday, depending on which time zone you're in, you'll probably find loads and loads and loads of people are going to have just spare picks and axes and stuff that they're going to be able to get rid of, just because they'll want to actually mod the new versions up. And the current tools are perfectly fine, to be honest. So yeah, and to give an idea, we'll go back up into this area a bit later on. I kind of want to go down this left area first and explore down here. See, I shouldn't really go down holes. I have this like sort of bad reputation to go down holes when I see them. Oh, mind you, hey, this is quite neat. Ah, this is the screenshot that I was given, because I saw it from this sort of angle. This is cool. So I like this, kind of using the that's a point as well, Leo, actually, yeah, for if you just go down to like a player swap meet and stuff, a lot of people just tend to take their old tools and stuff with them to give away. And yeah, I kind of like using, like, again, using the props for things other than what they were initially designed for. So this behind here is just a round table, and then just by putting the little knocker on there, it's made it completely something different. Now, what do you reckon? We'll come down that hole in a bit, actually, because that kind of looks like it goes way down there somewhere. Let's go in here. Yes, Geektown, I'm sure you're working. I love this, actually. This is doing the bottom banding here. Again, for one, it makes it really look like a building of the Shire kind of thing. But to get that sort of detail without it warping is really quite neat. It's surprisingly hard to do. It's one thing that I really struggle to do. Same thing for this. Probably gone through and re-smoothed the shape on here a little bit, Because at least when I tend to make these sort of things by default, you tend to get like the warping effect on the textures and things. Ooh, wow, there's more stuff in there. We're gonna have to keep going. I like this actually as well. It's like if you're gonna do like windows and things, I always quite like it when people try and match the. If you like, if you try and match the theme for what you've been doing for the build itself. So obviously the rest of the outside of here was vines, so it kind of just filled in the space with the vines here. But then if I scooty on down, completely different design again. It's probably going to be made out of microvoxels. It looks a little bit thinner than a standard size voxel, that, so it's probably a version of microvoxels in there. So yeah, it looks really quite nice and neat. Wonder how long it worked on it as well to get these archways the right sort of height as well, where you weren't quite banging your head on the way. Ah, and then there's a way out. That's another massive build going on over there. Ah, so you can just have like a proper little sort of hobbity sort of entrance. That's really neat. I like the detail around the edge of the windows on the outside here as well. Spardu, yeah, the spire, the shire even. Whoop. Yes, you can't really see the lights in the middle of the day. Let's have a look up here. I'm guessing that she might have had some sort of crafting station here at some point, because it seems to have left materials out, like there used to be something here. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I'm getting ahead of her. Where's this go? This is the problem, you see, is that I'll start going down people's claims and get lost. Oh my god. Okay, so there's a completely separate underground area to this. Is there a bit I was in before? Or is this... I'm not sure if I can get back to the bit I was from underneath. Let's carry on having a look around, why not? I like the detail on the floor actually. It's really quite nice and neat. And there's still butterflies going around in here. Things are bloody everywhere. Probably off this massive one. It's scaled up that plant. There's lights for something. Yeah. Holy crap. Okay, that's a spider's web with a spider. Alright. Jeez. That is actually scarily impressive. Not only to get the angles looking relatively nice, but then obviously the effort to go through to actually put a spider on there. I like using these particular trees as well, just to make it look a little bit more menacing as well. That's neat. Big open area here as well, so I would guess that some areas like, yeah, so it's like look like the starting bits of detail and then going back through. So it's like, you can see like they started to work the edges on these trees and things. What's this? There's a path to nowhere yet. There's probably something further through on... Ooh, hang on. checking around for holes and stuff everywhere now. So yeah, I should say, look at the ceiling. Ooh, I missed that. Hang on. That's kind of huge. Thanks for pointing that out. I'm not sure how you pronounce your name. Would it be Dueros? Would that be correct? So yeah, thanks for pointing that out, man. I clean ass missed that. I wonder if we can actually see the other side of that. I'm guessing that's why this underground bit is here as well. Just so that you can actually see through here. So that, I guess that's why this is being built down here. He did say this was a work in progress. So although there is a lot to the build already, there's still stuff being added to it all the time, which is really cool. Ah, we're in a sort of well. Like, where the hell have we come out? Ah, hang on, so that's the rest of the build over there. Yeah, we've come way through, so like we came down underneath here and then came out through on here. There seems to be an open top area over here as well, so it might be a way to see that butterfly from the other side. Wow, we just kind of just got lost in there. This path kind of gives me a you almost like kind of want to say it's like a Charlie in the Chocolate Factory kind of thing. It's like really quite colourful and looks kind of look like stuff's made out of like different sweets and things. I think it's more this particular prop, the way it comes out. Maybe that's just me though. I do like the detail. Like again, just going through it. I mean, bottom line, it's still only it's a path, but put that extra little bit of effort in, and there's a load more stuff on here. Now, yeah. So I went down there because this is kind of where we came out just before. Let's go this way. Ah, so here we go. Yeah, so this is like the back where we were right at the start. So this is the crafting area here. God, this place just goes on and on. Ah, yeah. So there we go. So you could have either come back through here, or we went down through into that way. Ah no, so this bit lights up another area. Neat. Yeah, it is all glassed up as well. My god, it's just like layers and layers and layers. Yeah, I just popped the link for you in chat there on. If you basically go onto there and just post the details of your claim for me, there's quite a few on there now, so it probably won't be on it until next week, possibly a bit later at some point. But that's kind of why we want to try and stick to having 3 claims per stream now, just so we can try and not have people necessarily wait so long to see builds coming up. It's like a little sleeping area down here. So with the little beds and the fire and things, I really quite like that. Where was I going? Ah, yes. Do we go up the stairs or down the stairs? Kinda gotta go down the stairs, haven't we? Ah! So that's ending there for now. So this is what the tunnel was for that we saw before. So if I keep going this way. Yeah, so we went into the house there before, and this was the other tunnel. So just like the way everything's linking through in here is really, really cool. I have a feeling I could get lost in this place. Doing these really fine cylinders as well is pretty much impossible with the new smoothing tool the way it works now. But it's nice to see that there's quite a few of those templates and things still living through. Where do these stairs go? They go up. Ah, so that was... oh, okay. Let's close that door back up. So yeah, so everything kind of interconnects with the main crafting area here. It just kind of goes around here, there and everywhere, so we've just come back out here. Let's go into this part of the build. Yeah. This is like the one thing I've said about a lot of this Deros, is that the main reason why I'm trying to do a lot of the showcase stuff is that I just can't do half of this stuff. I can show some of like the more basic techniques and how it works, but actually sitting there and going through a build, not so much. Kind of like an outside seating area. Yeah, let's have a look inside. Ah, check this out, it's like a little working kitchen. That's cool. Notice how it's just using the shapes to make it look like a proper, like, rather than like just leaving it without the detail, just so that the, again, you know, just adding in little touches, just so it makes it look a little bit more realistic. And in truth, that's only because you haven't got a cooker prop in game yet, but bound to come eventually. Is it glass in there, or is it just getting a reflection off the polish? I think it is just a reflection off the polish. I can't quite see if there's any glass in there, I don't think there is, but can you see like how the flames glowing on the polished surface? Where's the toilet? It's like a little pantry area. Believe it or not, we haven't seen a toilet yet. Again, I like this, just again using the textures carefully, just so that you'll end up having things lining up nice and neatly. It's the same for the bigger slabs behind here, just so it all looks nice and neat. And that as well for the edges here. It's far more patience than what I have. That was the holy clad. Well, that's like a seating area here. I just keep finding extra little bits to start walking around and stuff. Made it upstairs. Trick the camera a bit. So that's the outside again there, so that's the crafting area just down there. It's just so much. It's kind of one of the things, it's not so much just the detail, it's the fact that it's the time it would have taken to put all the detail in. Like for a build this sort of size. It's a lot of patience. So like serving area behind here. I do always like how if you get any of the polished stones, they always come out really, really nice now. It's kind of one of the improvements they started putting in with some of the textures. Yeah, I'm sorry to disappoint guys, but I don't think you're going to find yourselves a toilet. Let's keep looking now. So, to show where we're at now, so again this is like the middle area here. So we're going to come up these particular set of stairs here. And this is another area. It never ends. I was going to see if you could jump down the well. Let's put up like a little materials area. Different woods must tend to put these out. The layers, yeah man. I haven't seen where that, if you can get above that butterfly, or whether it is just cleverly hidden behind there. I might have to go and have another look around. Let's go along this way, because there's more up here. I am going to go into here in a minute, the lighthouse here. Whoop. Yay, beta. It's even things like this, so it's like put all this trellis detailing up on here just so it goes from like tree to tree to mark out the areas of the claim. As you know, you wouldn't have to do that, but again, it just shows like the nice sort of space that you've got to explore around, really. Yeah. Then again, I say this is a great thing. Putting a lot of these trees up will wind people up. I found that out doing that myself. It's a great way to sort of passively troll people. It's just like you'll have people looking for the rare drops from these trees, and they'll come charging at it just on instinct. Ah no, this particular roof is providing light for the entrance to the other house down there. You can just about see. Now I know where this is for. So yeah, I'm not sure where getting the light from that other bit from. I'm baffled. Let's probably put a load of artificial lights in there. It's just a little tower. Whew! Nearly fell down the little hole underneath here. Now the reason why it shows this stuff in chat and things now, if I actually... Oh no, it's not going to let me move chat because where I have it locked in right now while I'm streaming. But the reason why it'll start flashing tier 1 and then it flashed into tier 2, it's because the depths in the world have already been labelled. So it's like if you actually just went out with a pick or a pulverizer and just started drilling down, you'd actually see it start flashing up tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. Because they've started to label that stuff in for when they introduced the caves. I just want to get to the top of here. Oop, nope. There we go, that's better. Yeah, I'm going to call this actually in terms of a slightly suggestive title for this particular tower. You might have to be careful with CS for something like that, depending on if they appreciate innuendo or not. Is there a bottom of the world? Technically no, although at least currently if you were going to dig down, you'd eventually just get to the point of where the light would just die out on you. Even if you had additional light sources with you, like torches or anything like that. None of that would work when you were down there. So you'd effectively just hit a bottom layer and then that would be it. I'm gonna go just up around the back of here. I like this as well, just putting in the little chimney details. So yeah, you can kind of see where the claim completely caps out on here. So I just zip along here. So yeah, this is one of the things I was made aware of when I was looking through here, so that I wouldn't have to worry about where the edges of the claim were, because the main claim is more or less marked out. Let's turn that off. And yeah, lo and behold, people using the claim quite happily. Famous. And yeah, in truth, I mean, for myself as a player, having the caves and things like that going in is one of the things that I'm more interested in having a look at when it comes down. Just to see exactly how far you can go into the world, how much you'd actually be able to build underground as well. I mean, you can kind of place claims into the earth now if you're a little bit particular and you lay it out carefully. But it'd be really cool to see if you could actually just go straight in there, and like, you know, if you followed a cave system underground, if you could then just place your claim under there. So it's like the rest of the world would automatically generate and whatever, and then you could just kind of build an underground city kind of thing. And people have had those ideas already. It's kind of one of the it's one of the things that I believe at least one person has put a claim in that they built underground from the showcase. So I do know there's claims like that coming as well, which I'm looking forward to having a look at. And yeah, you know, just lots of little detail. I like the signs and things. It's like you wouldn't really have to put the signs up because most people would just follow the noise. And all this stuff, it looks relatively random, but I guarantee that this would have taken ages to get laid out exactly how they wanted it to be. And it just looks like a really nice natural sort of shape to it. I know, it's like it just all follows around. Again, it looks great when they put the vines and things around, so it's really, really clever. And yeah, I do like that, as I say, I mean, when I'm placing things, my probably main fault is that I just see one particular plant type I like, and I go, oh yeah, I'll just craft 20 of those things and just pile them all in there. So I don't really think it through properly. But doing things like this is really, really clever, just like getting like all the different colours and things all marked up. Not necessarily using the standard size for things as well, because they're relatively small roots compared to what they would have been originally. Same thing with the log and things. So just being a little bit clever. Still need to know if I can actually get to that butterfly any other way, but I don't think so unless someone saw something that I missed. So yeah, again, even on here, it's not just like a bog standard square. It's actually gone through, added shape to it, so it just looks a little bit more nice and detailed. Just gonna see if I can find my way through here. Well, at least I'm starting to figure out the way around. Ah no, that is actually built onto the roof, so it's actually just using the light orbs. I thought there was actually a bit above this, you can kind of just see the camera just tops out, but I couldn't quite tell from the floor, so it is actually just built into the roof. That's a lot of detail though, actually. That's really neat. I always wonder what people are doing to areas whenever they have like bits that they haven't built. Should probably suggest, as certain people were complaining that there's not a toilet in the build yet, we should probably do some feedback and say to put a toilet in here. It seems the only proper thing to do. The way that's built, I didn't notice this the first time when I was here. But because of the way the plants and stuff are built up here, you probably wouldn't have thought to see if there was a hole there, to be honest. Seems like all the different plant life and even like the natural stuff that the world's generated on the grass here, you wouldn't have necessarily thought to look. Oh, you mean go back down the other way, see what happens? You kind of can. It really does angle down. Well, there has been this put here, so kind of expected someone to come down here probably at some point. So yeah, I wasn't making the connection between that and where this was, basically. Ooh, hang on. There's another tunnel! There's another tunnel! Did we come through here? I don't think we did. Or did we? Ah yes, that's the way we came through the first time. God! Ah, okay, so I have got all the other bits now. Neat! I was going to say, there is a lot of cool stuff in this build. Well, for a sprawling build, that was really neat to have a look around. So thank you very much for you. For those who missed the very start, we're quite literally more or less on top of the spire here, so you can't miss it. But this is on Understanding server, on Spring, and it's been built by Whiteberry on the forums, so you can feel free to send them a message and say how awesome their claim was. Or send them a tweet on Twitter. Not entirely sure how you'd say that, at Tarada, something like that. I'm really awful at pronouncing names. It's the only reason why I went. It's like when I was doing my character stuff, it was like, do you want to be called like by what I normally use for games? I was like, nah, just put Chris on there. Just be called Chris. It's nice and simple. So yeah, like I said, we're literally right next to the spire here, so you can't miss it. Anyway, let's move on. Sorry, that's a name and a half. Gravity Cat! Yay! This is where we find out if the game wants to be nice and teleport me first time. Yes. Now, the one we're going to is way off over here, so it shouldn't be too long, but everything's really spaced out on here actually. Let's go! Don't worry, you've got time. I'm probably going to be running this way for a couple of minutes at least. Actually, whilst we're doing that... Claims everywhere. So, these are the details that were given to me by the architect, and oh my god, this build's making me lag. This thing here next to me is just making me lag like nothing on earth. We should get this person to submit something. My god. This is kind of one of the big things they've said at the minute in terms of optimization that they really need to work on. Is that I never went anywhere. I didn't actually go inside that structure at all, but because there's so many voxels and stuff in there, the game still loads all that up. So if you go through like a really heavily built area where people have got like really complex claims, you'll tend to start lacking a bit. Or, well, if you're someone like myself who's got a half decent PC but then is also streaming on it, it just tanks your game. Yeah, more or less on target here. Stay on target. And yeah, these sort of environments are why the Old Forest has kind of become my favourite biome right now. Whoop! Backflip. And yeah, Finnegan said they might be able to meet us here today, but it depended on exactly what time we were getting to his, and I told him the time roughly. So he might pop up or not. We'll see. Let's go around the front here. And yeah, this was something that he kind of wanted people to see because he is still very much still building and really is in the process of building right now. But he was basically aiming to have a sort of Viking inspired sort of building, so like trying to have sort of like really elaborate but kind of like looking like old style Viking like forts and things like that. I'm bringing them into here. So I'm going to pull you guys back into chat and we'll have a look around. Ta-da! So yeah, this part of it at the front, which is why I came around the side, was the bit he said he's already done for the most part. Sarku, who's one of the guys who we did a claim walkthrough yesterday. Ooh, sorry, banged the mic. Sarku's one of the guys we did a claim look around on Monday, and he's just sent me a message to say he's now started to add a tent to the back of his cottage. So he's most people never finish doing what they're building. But yeah, come on, this sort of stuff is massively detailed actually. So all kind of, it looks like it's almost been interlocked kind of thing. So like you kind of like weaved the stuff together. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure how we would have done that without completely distorting the voxels. Where am I from in England? I am from Liverpool. Admittedly, my accent isn't as bad as some people from around here, and that's because I've lived here, there and everywhere in the last 10 years. Would that have been anti-voxels, are you saying? Do I ask? Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's the only way you could actually get it that close, because it's like, mainly because of like how the angles are on here, I think it'd only be the way to get it without really screwing up. Same with the, I saw these are really cool on the images I had in advance. Just like having like the spiked walls and things. It's just really cool. Holy crap. Yeah, like I say, my accent isn't as strong. One of my mates, John, who's in the guild, who I've known for years and years now, we went to uni and stuff together. His logic on my accent is I've kind of picked up different inflections depending on where I've been living and working. So it's like I've like worked over in Seattle in the US with a company in the past. I've worked down in London and things as well. John has been quite bad for my accent because he comes from like the east of the UK, so he's got that sort of accent on him. and I can't do it. I can't do that sort of like Yorkshire accent kind of thing. But yeah, because I've lived and worked all over the place, my accent has just gone out the window. But I have like little inflections and things from all over the place. But yeah, anywho, this I really like. So it's like, because it's using polished stone as well, so as I'm moving the mouse to look where the light's hitting it, you get like a different effect on it. That is really, really nice. Again, this is what happens when people have far more patience from what I do. Let me zoom in to have a little look closer. So it's like, got like this middle section on here with these areas all getting pulled through to it to make the shape. Those bits are just as impossibly impressive. Just the patience to do that. I mean, yeah, it's a repeated design, but God. And so yeah, so that was the bit he said he's more or less completed in terms of like the outside part of this bit of the build. It does look really impressive with the way he's done it. Yeah, so when I was speaking to him, he was saying that this area is what he's been using to try and create his areas with. Oh, check out these things. So yeah, we're probably going to see some of these inside. So yeah, he's using like a separate space just to build all his templates and things up exactly how he wants to have them. These points always look familiar for when people start messing around with these sort of size things. Tell you what, he's been busy designing his shapes. Let's have a look inside actually. Ah, so he's put the fires up in the roof. That's really nice. Again, just little detailing on the floor as well, just to keep things looking similar. I have to be careful here now because this is going to get a little bit maze-like, I have the feeling of, if I'm not careful. Oh, mind you. Yeah, he was saying that outside like the basic shape of things, he hasn't done a lot of he hasn't managed to do like a lot of like the inside detail yet. So this is like the big stuff he's still working on. He's got work for. Hello, Tomboy. Not sure on the play this game. Is anyone that knows good video of all the features? There's different videos for different stuff on YouTube depending on what you're looking for. There's the way a lot of the videos tend to be done, or at least the ones I've seen, someone might be able to give a nice link to one, but a lot of the videos tend to be either showing off builds and things, or tutorials around a specific style of build, or like how to do a particular shape or something. Let's have a look actually quickly. And yeah, it is closed beta, so not everything's here yet, at all.
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen.
To explain Tomboy, there's actually two fundamentally different games. There's this game, which is Landmark, which is more like a build-it-yourself MMO. So what they're going to be doing is they're going to be adding in different building tools and features for you to be able to make up your own things in the game. And that's not just like structures, because we've only really got these building tools down here right now. Actually, if I quickly change my camera mode. So yeah, so they've only got like these sort of basic building tools and things right now. So you can only really use it for building structures kind of thing. Later down the line though, kind of if you do think of like WoW, in terms of what you can do in there, it's like creating your own dungeons and having like designers and things like that to actually create all that content. Well, you're going to be able to kind of do that in Landmark. The difference is you'll have control over what the NPCs do. You'll be able to put in like their own AI and customize that. You'll be able to put in things like timed events and all the rest of it. And it's basically going to be all in your control. The other game that's in development is EverQuest Next. Now, the way the two games link up, Landmark is, as I said, the build-it-yourself MMO. Next is the MMO where Sony themselves are going to essentially create the entire experience for you. So all the content is going to be there. It'll look similar to Landmark, mainly because it's going to be under the same game engine, and it's going to be using like quite a lot of the similar features and things. It's just that Sony will have control over what you then experience in the game. If that makes sense. Do I go down the hole? There's nothing quite here yet. I like the detailing on the roof as well, actually. Just starting to look through on these. Again, just adds a little bit more depth to his build. No worries, man. I'm pretty sure I'm probably one of the only people streaming right now, am I? Because it seems like people are piling into here. It's the one way I can tell when it's quiet in the afternoon, when people start piling into here. Oh no, there's a couple of people having a little wander around. So yeah. Nice to know that a lot of you have decided to pop onto me. Right. So yeah, he's got a lot of space to work with actually on here. So he's going to start using this up on here by the looks of it. Although saying that, he's still kept the inlay separate to what he's building, so unless he just hasn't decided to place it down yet. Yeah, he's probably still got bits of this, but as I say, are very much work in progress, because he's already said that he wanted to get, like I said, the outside sort of shape done first before he started putting in the detail. And yeah, I mean, Leo, you've put it quite well in chat there. It's kind of like where no one person Whoops, sorry, turned off my mic then. He very specifically spoke to me about how he was very clear that he wanted to hit a very, very strict theme when he was building. The hardest bit on this now would probably be to have the microvoxel edge on here, but that being said, I mean, at least to get the inlays general, it's not as hard as it was, because you now have the little air toggle thing on the tweak tool. It's a whole lot easier. I mean, I was doing stuff very, very quickly yesterday to show things in the showcase tutorial stuff. The very first one I showed was inlays because someone was complaining about not being able to do it, and I think it's because they were just following an old guide for it. But yeah, this sort of stuff is a little bit more tricky because you have to kind of lay everything out exactly how you want it. And yeah, it can be very particular, even if you're not putting it straight down initially, just to try and get it where you don't start getting the distortions on the voxels. Yeah, if you're someone like me, you'd lose patience. Well, I'll say this, unless he's inlaying the macro voxel, he's not getting any distortion off of it. Oh, mind you. Oh no, it's just a texture. But yeah, trying to show where the standard voxel size is without it. Because I can't select anything on here, so that's the normal square to the grid there. And yeah, it's gonna be more, let's say, smaller voxels, because that's how you get these lines here. So without getting any of the distortion anyway. That being said, you can pretty much, at least if you're placing in microvoxels these days, provided you actually turn off the air toggle, it does just go in neat. But yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's every crafting station known to man here as well. Trying to figure out some of the other bits and pieces he's doing on the end here, so looks like he's just designing some tops of areas and things on here. These are the same details he's got on the corners of here, like these bits here. So it's like, I guess he was just placing them down before colouring. Yeah, zoom right on in. Yeah, so like the shape that he's got there would have just been like a selection off basically an angled voxel. And you can kind of see it on here where he's got the points. Only if you're going in super fine detail, mind, you can't really see it once you actually zoom out. So, you know, from like the normal sort of height, you wouldn't even notice the difference. You just see the actual outline and then the detailing. Just trying to see what other little bits and pieces he's had building on here, just in case he... So he's got his archways and things on the go down here. Yeah, looks like he's still busy building away his details. It's kind of the thing, I mean, they constantly seem to be tweaking how to do certain things. And yeah, it's kind of one of those at the minute is that, and I miss it, I mean, the devs say this all the time, and I think people miss it. But you know, like a lot of the time, it's like if you're just selecting areas, you'll get like different shapes and angles and things. And that's one of the things that a lot of the developers have always said, just to try and have like a fiddle around with it. Let's hope the builders don't quit in the middle. No, well, I mean, admittedly, this particular guy's claimed theArchitect. He's Finnegan in game, but he was very specific in saying that he hasn't been building this particular build for all that long. So that's pretty much the main reason why it's still only really got like the outer shell kind of thing. Which is fine. We might actually even, because it is a in progress build, I have been saying to anyone, even if they have asked us to put their claims up on the showcase as they are, I have been saying to them, it's like, if you do get to the point of where you finish and you want us to look around it again, we're more than happy to do that. AJ Cohen, yeah. As I say, it's just purely the state that a lot of people are in. So it's like, if you've got the space to put stuff out, that's what people tend to do, just like kind of keep stuff out there. It's just to have them as quick selection options. He hasn't tagged this bit yet. I will say this though, he's got an awful lot of space to work with, so... I mean, that's why a lot of people really like the voxel boards and things. Just as, like, if you're gonna start having to mess around with making like upteen slightly different shapes, then you can kind of go here, there and everywhere with it. What type of founders package do I recommend? Comes entirely down to people's own personal preference. What I've been saying to a lot of people is, if it's just a matter of you really don't know if you want to get involved with the game at all, you just want to try and have a go of it if you can get the chance, then I usually say to just watch people's streams to see if they're going to be giving away keys. We're potentially going to be looking into that with Sony, because it's one of the things that we're hoping to try and make available. But obviously there's a lot of behind the scenes sort of stuff that has to work in our favour for that. Outside of that though, like I say, I mean, the basic $20 package tends to do the job for most people. Still gives you a couple of basic bits and pieces to get started with. Everything else that you get on like the higher level packs and things like the additional clothing types, like the additional things like this sort of stuff on like the high end packs, it all really comes down to what sort of investment you want to put into it. You'll find people like myself, because I tend to play every single day and I tend to mess around with the guild and stuff every single day. I was quite happy to fork out for the Trailblazer packs at the top end one. But yeah, it just all comes down to people's personal preference really. I know a lot of the guilds have only done either the Explorer pack, or... I'm trying to think what the name for the other one is now. And yeah, it's kind of one of those. It's like, yeah, admittedly, it was say it's like effectively like $100 for the top end pack, but and yes, you can always upgrade your packs. I was just about to say that. So it's like even if you buy like a lower pack, the settler one, that's what I'm thinking of. So it's like even if you buy one of the two lower packs, if you find yourself wanting to get more, then you can always kind of just jump up and get, like as I say, more stuff if you really want to. But yeah, to give you an idea, I mean, admittedly, $100, yes, but since starting it in alpha, because that was one of the perks you got from the higher pack initially you got into the alpha right back in January, I've clocked getting on for nearly 500 hours already in the game, and the game's not even out yet. So based off like relative investment, yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Anywho, like I said, I mean, I was only going to show the Architects ones briefly, and that's why I kind of showed it in the middle, just to kind of give a different sort of layout. I'm just going to find, mainly because I was looking at the stuff for links and stuff before, I've misplaced the location for the last one. Ah, there we go. Lacutis, where are you? Oh, we're changing places again. Righty ho, onwards. Oops. And yeah, I mean, one of the things I will say about the stuff that's coming is that anything that they can build for EverQuest Next, they're going to get to the point of where they will create tools to allow us to do the same things in Landmark. Now, that might not necessarily work in exactly the same way, so like as detailed as we can get on the builds and stuff in here, one of the things that the developers have already said for EverQuest Next is that for a lot of the buildings and structures, they're obviously going to use a more traditional method of doing 3D modeling and things like that, so they can get the proper shapes and designs and all the rest of it exactly how they would want, which, is perfectly fine. So with things like that in mind, like for when it gets to the point of where they're going to have like mob spawners and AI editors and all the rest of it. I'm just kind of falling down this hill a bit weirdly, aren't I? That's a bit bizarre. Let's have a run through this on the way, because this looked kind of neat on when we were coming through. Probably lagged like crazy on the way through here now. Well, this looks like a lot of work in progress. And yeah, so it's like, mainly because they have to make it user-friendly then. So it's like, because like they'll have to put in like something that's as complicated as an AI editor, but make it simple and easy to use for the average player. God, there's got to be something massive inside there that's making me lag out like crazy. Because as soon as I got here the last time, it started lagging. But yeah, nice. So yeah, that sort of stuff, because they will have to make it user-friendly, it's hard to tell exactly right now how much of the stuff will be the same. And yeah, you'll get a claim prop flag. You won't get an actual claim flag to place down. Yeah, Mr. Panshine, you are actually quite correct in that. That's kind of what I kind of was equating certain features to. So it is that kind of sort of idea. So yeah, the prop flags that you get. So that's a Trailblazer flag that I got because I have a Trailblazer account, and you also get like the other flags and stuff as well. The actual claim flags, so the actual props themselves, are different to being able to place a claim down. You have to actually make these claim flags, and then once you make one, that's where it then opens up this interface where you can lay things down. Now, I can't here because everyone's built stuff here. But yeah, zooming out a bit, so the red areas you can't place a claim on, but any of the areas outside you can do. Oh, we're going to be lucky twice in a row! Oh yes! It's nice when you don't crash. Sorry, I just had to see this here before moving on, because this looks daft. Cows! Ah, hey Lacutis. Is this your one here, or are you under a different name? I'm just trying to see, because... Now, how the crap did I miss? I know you said like it had a pyramid bit in it, and I was like, I don't see anything. I see this, I see this, I see it. How did I miss that? Jeez. So, man, I was just having another look around then, that just snapped in onto view. God almighty. Clean ass missed that one. Yeah, alright. You'll see, I'm just going to flick over onto your stuff on here, hang on. I pretty much was quoting what you told me about it. Hence why I put the visible from space bit in. So it's like, yeah, I don't really know how I missed that. Crap in hell, man. Have you got a... Yeah. Is that intentional, by the way? Holy crap, man. As you're in chat, tell you what, yeah, just holy crap. So yeah, this is on Satisfaction server on Tor. God almighty. How long did this take you to build, man? Let's pop chat back on. Because yeah, Lacutis is actually in chat with us at the minute. So hello to you. It's like I can't even see the top from here. Bloody hell. Oh, that's neat. Have you put stuff... Have you got stuff all the way up here? Holy crap, man. How long did this take, as I say, how long did this take you to build, man? A few hours. With you using the smooth stone as well, do you tend to get reflection off the sunlight when it's out? Okay, so I'm more or less at the top bit. No, ran out of rock. No kidding. I'm gonna go outside to look at this as well, but oh, what the crap did I just fall through? I glitched through the floor. Why? I'm literally in the middle of one of the... Whoa. Now you see, everything else has been running smooth, so this will, oh, no, hang on. I was about to say this will crash me out the game. Oh, wait. Wait for it. Tease it. Damn you. I'll grapple up the outside in a sec. Like feature in commas. It's a feature. It's not a bug, it's a feature. I think, although I could be wrong. I say I'm gonna give it a minute because sometimes with if you do the teleporting, sometimes it takes it a minute just to reset yourself. Oh, hang on, the music stopped. It's never a good sign. Oh, nope. I do love that music. Do you did you make note of like just how much stone you needed to make the thing? Yeah, I normally the problem with it is that because of how I'm playing the game right now, because I'm streaming, I'm running in windowed mode. So there's no real neat way to get around it, really. Like the orb on top, man. Good touch. We are high up here. Need for the sun to come out, although the moon's quite nice, because at least you can see the glow off this. Could do with the sun coming out. It's like so bloody high up. 1.4 million. Jesus. Yeah, well, I say it's literally only because I'm particular with how I'm streaming. It just makes it a little bit easier for me. How do you craft the claim flag? You have to do it from, if you go to a spire, so go to one of these. It's great that I can still see this from all the way up here. If you go to the basic crafting stations there, you'll see what you'll need to actually create a claim flag to start off with. It's always best to make sure that you're in a tier 1 continent as well, whichever server you go onto. So that won't matter soon going forwards, mine, but like for example Tor, the continent we're on right now, is a tier 3. So this is like only useful if you need tier 3 materials. But for at least starting out, you need to be in a tier 1 area. The actual, I was going to think, I thought the angle might be a bit too steep for me to do that, but you can just about. It's more of a how the game handles angles in the game, because there's still going to be voxels along here, so I'm still technically standing on them. But it's like, what are you standing on? Well, Yeah, it's the fact that, as to say, even at even distance, although it still kind of dulls out the edges of it, it's it's one of those that you can't really miss. Although, admittedly, I somehow managed to still do that. But it's like you can see it compared to like the size of the other builds and stuff around. I mean, this guy looks like he's starting something up on here as well. But that is just massive. Have you got any ideas of what you want to do on the inside of it? Obviously, because you ran out of materials, you were saying on there, but it's like the way it seems to just get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger the closer you get to it. Yeah, Mr. Pantine, actually, that's one of the things I tend to recommend for people for if you want to make templates. Um, Mainly because of the fact that, at least if you're starting out, um, it's like one of the harder things that a lot of people tend to do with templates and stuff is that they'll just template what they've built with like really top end materials, which, you know, it's like not everyone will have the option for. Certainly, at least at the start of the game. So I know a lot of people want to start getting templates and things like that ready to put up on Player Studio when that goes live in Landmark, and it'll be kind of one of those things where it's like, I think they've said that they're going to be probably trying to get it to the point of where rather than just showing whatever material you've made it out of, you'll be able to just default it back to dirt. But it'll probably make a little bit more sense to store things as the basic dirt. Yeah, I do like how this ledge just seemed to disagree with me for some reason. So I wanted to have a proper little look around here because I couldn't do it before. Oh, so you just actually just reading what you're putting there about this build. Something a bit more technical. Hmm. Oh, see, now that's cheating. My god, glass is getting used to troll the crap out of people these days. It's a Liverpool filter ledge. Yeah, thanks, man. That sort of thing would be a really neat way, actually, to try and hide. So if you're going to stick with like a pyramid sort of thing, trying to build like catacombs and things underneath. That's what was getting me with this. It's like if I was running at it, your character just auto jumps over. See? how heavy is the game on memory space? Let's find out. Wow, that's coming out really, really small. Its current usage is relatively high. As I say, admittedly, mine is a little bit different because I am streaming and things as well. So it's clocking my CPU up a fair chunk, and it's using about 1.4 gigabytes worth of memory. So it's nothing too drastic, to be honest. And keep in mind, the game isn't optimized yet. You know, they kind of said you need up to 8 gig for memory. Unless they're going to be doing something drastically different, I've never seen it top out to that. For one of the very first alpha builds, I think it got to around about 2.5 gigs worth of RAM usage. But yeah, it's nothing too overly drastic right now. Surprising enough for me, because what I've done with the game so that it doesn't interfere with my streaming so much, I've got it clocked just onto the one core. So that's why it's like, even when I'm standing here not doing anything, I'm still getting around about anywhere between 30 to 40% on my CPU usage there. I do like that. I mean, that's kind of one of the things that a lot of people tend to miss for just putting fancy sort of structures in there to kind of show off something. Have you got a light source in there? Yeah. Yes. Lights everywhere. And yeah, I do like the finish inside. It's like the really nice, just sort of angled, polished stone. It's really quite cool. And yeah, the only time for performance stuff like that, Carter, the only time you'll tend to pick up on that a little bit is, I'd say, if you're going past something that's got a lot of voxels in it. So usually if someone's got a relatively big build, that's where your performance will tend to drop off. It looks really nice, actually, yeah. So kind of going back to what Mr. Pound's saying there, it's it just kind of make it look like the point's exploding out. It's really quite cool. See, now a lot of this sort of stuff, so it's where people have created fancy designs and shapes and things, rather than the building structures. That sort of stuff is kind of what I see will probably be the bigger sellers on Player Studio. I could be completely wrong about that, but at least as far as I'm guessing about it, I would assume it's going to be that sort of thing. Give it a like. Did you while I've still got you in chat here, for the various sized angles and stuff on here, did you use the line tool, or did you use or did you have to actually make them out of just individual voxels first? So I keep knocking my mic as well today. If it's not one thing, it's another. Well, I know one other thing that someone wanted, and I would agree with this. You know how on this prop you get the perpetual flame inside? A lot of people want just that middle bit to use as a light source, and I'd agree with that entirely. Just having that sort of where it's pulsing out the light randomly, where you can see like it flares up. I'd love to have that as like a just as a separate light option. I'll say this though, man, doing that with the line tool, you have a lot of patience to do that. It just looks scary trying to look at it from down here. I'll tell you what, right, this is the only time cause I've been talking with a lot of the Sony folks about these sort of showcases we were wanting to start to do, and I was making a comment about it the other day when I was because I was sitting in on Omi doing his stream the other night, and I was just saying like the one thing I would love to be able to do in the game, forget God knows what building tools and stuff, but from a showcase point of view, I'd love to have the option to be able to change from night and day quickly. Can you lose your claim if you don't pay upkeep? Yes, in terms of its location, no in terms of what you build. So, right, I haven't got any claims on this particular continent, so that's why it's saying I haven't got any here. I do have 3 claims laid out in total, of which I only actually have 2 days worth of time left actually. So, essentially the way it works currently, although again they will change this once the in-game monetary system goes in, because it'll basically cost X amount of money to keep the upkeep going. But right now, just so that the system's in place, you just use copper ore. And the idea is, if you're not daft like me, and you've run out of your copper ore, because I haven't been mining for copper in God knows how long, you would basically deposit however much you want. So, for example, for my 3 claims, it's going to cost me 900 ore per day to keep those. So, as I say, that's why with my 2,500 I've only got 2 days and a bit left. So, I'll need to sort that out at some point. I'll end up doing that tomorrow actually, because I'll need to eventually go back to my claim for doing the tutorials tomorrow. But yeah, so the idea is you basically just pay the upkeep for however long you want to keep them, up to 5 days total. If, for whatever reason, you don't do it, yeah, so these are ones I just let lapse a little while ago just to kind of show what happens to them. Basically, if you have a claim up, but then you run out of your upkeep, as I say, the game will basically remove your claim, but it will save the claim as a template for you. So anything you've got, it'll keep all nice and safe in there. So that, like, when you do come back into the game, you can basically put your claim back down and then put any of the buildings and all the rest of it that you had back onto the claim as well. So it's like you'll lose yourself probably, especially if you're at a close location to a spire like here. So it's like if Lacutis here just kind of, for whatever reason, forgot to come in for a week, and then he came back, his entire structure moon reflection. Oh. So yeah, so it's It's just going to be varied over time. I mean, they have said that at least for like the length of time for upkeep, they have said they'll eventually have the option to increase the upkeep that you put in there, but it's only if you've been constantly paying for it. There is also a cheeky way around it as well right now, and I did it initially when I was only using one claim. I tend to bounce between using 1 to a maximum of 3 claims right now because I'm building mostly guild stuff myself. So the way it works is if you put, say, 5 days like 5 days worth of upkeep in, but for the maximum number of claims you can put down, and then you take all those claims up and you leave yourself with the 1, it'll still store your upkeep in there. So you'll basically end up with like buckets of days worth of time in there right now. But yeah, I mean, either way, I mean, they are going to say that they will eventually give people the option to put more in there over time. But yeah, the idea is, it's like if you're going to build something massive like this, if for whatever reason you couldn't get into the game, you would never lose your build. You just have to place it back down again, which is handy. Yeah, I mean, you can basically just pile. It's, at least for now, it's a maximum of 5 days. Mainly because it's still only in beta, so their logic of it is that if you're playing in the beta right now, you're going to be wanting to play the game more often. So that's why it's only 5 days maximum. But they have said they will scale that. I'll just scoot around the back of here. And yeah, it's where my paranoia about checking existing claims comes into place. Because I always check around people's claims generally, just to make sure I don't miss anything, even if it's like a big build like this. Skyhearts, there's a template limit, yes. Well, Lacutis was saying this was like 1.4 million stone, this one, and that's just more or less hollow. So I could quite easily go on the logic of, if you say didn't have this hollow, so if, say, this wasn't hollow and it was solid, I could see that getting really quite close to the maximum size in terms of how much you could hold. I just like the fact I can't even see myself on the map yet. I have to scale out to see the entire thing of this. Yeah, Leo. I mean, like I said, I mean that's kind of. I mean, we've had it with guild members and stuff as well, where they've very specifically said that they're like, although like they're actively playing and stuff right now, obviously real life still carries on. Life finds a way. But yeah, it's one of the things they have said, at least going forward into the live game, they are going to give people longer periods of time to be able to upkeep to, just because they know that that's going to naturally change over time. That's kind of it. No, I mean, at the minute, a lot of it just depends on what people are building. I mean, obviously, as soon as you build a big structure like this, it just clocks up. Mine, I don't have a whole lot in there yet. Admittedly, 530-ish thousand of that is one template. So all my other bits and pieces are more for like bits I've done for existing builds and stuff to try and template bits. So a lot of it is just little tiny things. So like event things and stuff. So like most of the stuff I have templated, like the voxel boards and things, none of them are particularly massive. Well, I think because we only had a relatively small middle stint on the second claim from the architect, I think I'm more or less done. Because we've had a proper look around Lacutis' build here. However, as we do still have some time on our hands, do any of you have questions that you need answering, anything like that, before I disappear? Because I mean, I'm more than happy to answer any questions and things as well before I go. I'm not exactly would be classed as a font of knowledge, so to speak, but as I say, because I do play the game a lot, I would like to think I could be able to answer some questions. Then again, it could all go horribly, horribly wrong. It's mainly because at least for these particular shows, mainly because I have them bookmarked for a very specific time of day. I tend not to like go into anything that's not relating to what I'm doing, kind of thing. So I won't go into like a normal stream of just building or anything else like that. Just because at least for when I then go to upload this onto YouTube, say, it doesn't make sense to kind of pop that in there. Do you know any good tutorials for sculpting? Weirdly enough, no, not that many. I have been trying to find like anything particularly decent for sculpting, because I have seen various sculpting works and things like that, but I've yet to see a really nice tutorial on it. To the point of where I'm contemplating just kind of doing a random one myself and seeing what happens. Especially because the smoothing tool right now is particularly brutal. So it can be a little bit more complicated to do decent sculpting, really. I will say, Cohen, is that like I was saying at the start of the day, for the showcase streams, I do have them marked in to do them every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. So you can always make sure to follow the channel, because I say you'll always get notified then when I go live with these. I do tend to do them. I tend to start pretty much bang on 2 o'clock if at all possible, and running anything up to about 5 o'clock in the evening, just depending on how long we spend on each claim. Marioli does some nice sculpting, and a lot of it is on Twitch. Mr. Pound Sign, if you have the link to that, can you pop it into chat? Because I'm sure that as if people are looking for that sort of thing, it'll be great. Cohen, there's no one else streaming, is that why? Oh, you see, there's some people streaming. What is this nonsense? Yeah, I mean, at least, and this is kind of where generalization comes into play with how the smoothing stuff works. Thank you, Mr. Pound Sign. Lovely. I do like how we're the top stream right now for Landmark, so thank you for that, guys. This is kind of one of the ones where I can go to SOE. It's like, but look, we were the top streamer. Look, give us stuff to give away. A lot of it. Now, have I still got this? One of the things I did for the reason why this thing is so big is because of that. It's still a work in progress. It's a 2 claim high exact replica of Gypsy Danger from Pacific Rim, to the point of where it isn't exact. It's literally exact measured out. It was a pain in the ass to build, and I was doing it right at the end of alpha, and it was driving me mad. But the main reason why I say that is that at least currently, if you want to sculpt a smooth layer, no matter what it is, it's generally best to build things up voxel by voxel. So with that particular build, I effectively did it like a 3D printer. So I went off the original 3D model of Gypsy, rendered it in cube blocks instead, and then just did slices through the model and replicated that in game. Now, for more generic shapes, if you don't have time to sit there on fancy 3D modeling tools like 3ds Max and other things like that, you can find generic ones out in the world, and it's mainly because of the fact that because people were trying to make these sort of things in the likes of Minecraft and stuff like that beforehand, before you had the option to smooth things out, there's a lot of voxel based 3D generators out there. So it's like if you want to create a certain shape or design or something like that, you can kind of input things into it and it'll give you a basic block shape to follow, like basically just like instructions. And then the only difference of it is once you've actually then got that into Landmark and made the shape, you can then go back through and smooth it. And that's how like a lot of people do all things like the sort of wizard hat roofs, anything where they've got like slightly irregular angled roofs as well. From the tutorials we were doing yesterday, one of the guys in chat was asking like how you do the Japanese style edges on roofs, and that's literally just a case of just plopping down voxels and then smoothing the whole shape. But yeah, so long as you can, it's a little bit hard to visualize, but as long as you get the shape right with the square voxels first, when you go through and smooth it, it should be fine. Thank you for sticking around there, Leo, actually, yeah. See ya. And yeah, let me just see if I can find this link for you. I was going to say, we're getting away with stuff right now because Geek Domo's on and streaming, but he's not streaming Landmark right now, so we're getting away with being the top streamer. So it's like, yeah, look, we were top, honest. It's a difference whenever you have guild groups, you can't really compete when the pro guys turn up, but we do our best for you guys anyway. Because there was a link yesterday. Let me see if I can find it. ISIS is faster than I am. Yeah, so if you go onto there, I mean, admittedly, that particular one is it's more useful for more like generic sort of shapes. So they've got things like how to make a perfect sphere, a dome, a cone, things like that. So yeah, if you look at the different styles and stuff, so like say for example you wanted to create like the wizard's hat sort of roofs kind of thing, you basically just follow this cone shape here. But yeah, there's loads of them out there. Let's say if you literally just search on Google for like 3D voxel generator, or 3D pixel generator, or 3D cube generator, and all the rest of it, if you just keep going off those sort of variants, you'll find loads of websites like this. There you go. So the idea is it's like you'll do it layer by layer like a 3D printer, and then once you've got it cubed out, so once you've got the full size on here, then you can quite literally just smooth all that out as a one shape, and it'll smooth out completely perfectly, pretty much, if you're patient with it. So yes. Any other questions, or are we done? I will say, if you want to go and watch someone building stuff, if you go onto the Phonics stream, they tend to stream for quite a while going through builds and things. So they're really good if it's at least if you're wanting to just have a look at like folks as they go through building various bits and pieces, the Phonics usually quite good at it. Anywho, I do think though, at least for this particular showcase today, we are done and dusted. Like I was saying, guys, along with the showcases we do every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, I tend to sandwich those in with showcase tutorials, which are essentially any bits and pieces we've seen from builds and stuff that we've had a look round. I do my best to very, very badly show you how to do those. I'm not exactly, as I say, that I'm not the best builder in the world, but I try and show bits and pieces on there anyway. Like I said, with both of those show types, I do start at 2 o'clock. I tend to have to be able to finish by 5 because then I have other bits and pieces I have to do. And yeah, outside of that, you can always get the recaps here straight away on Twitch, because I tend to have to actually create them as a highlight anyway before they get exported to YouTube. Twitch currently doesn't save them for too long, So I tend to advise to say if you do want to be able to look back at them properly later, do make sure to go onto the YouTube channel, which is the youtube.com/user/landmark showcase on the bottom right. And very finally, if you do want to find out anything more about the guild I'm part of specifically, you can always go to the website, which is eqnknights.co.uk, or just send us a tweet over at EQN_Knights, and we'll always have a little chat on there for it. We do have public forums as well, so you can always just come and drop down, have a chat. Things like the recaps for these videos are always posted on there and stuff as well, so if you want to have a chat about those, you can do. But yeah, that's pretty much all for me today. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you again tomorrow.